I called 53 pharmacies to validate an app idea, and out of 53 pharmacies, I found only one genuine pharmacy that is really interested in what I am building. That's 2% interest rate.
Far from receiving call. Sorry, the customer dial is far from receiving.
Okay, no problem. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. Is this Al-Jihad Pharmacy? How can I assist you? Yes, we'll go now. Hello? Hello? You just hung up.
And that saved me from wasting 3 months of building something that nobody would want to use. In today's video, I'm going to show you what I learned about validation and why talking to customers before building is what matters. 1 week ago, I had an idea because a pharmacist friend mentioned to me that sometimes drugs expire without them knowing, or they run low on stock without even realizing. So I was like, wow, that was a perfect problem to solve. So I did what a lot of people do. I started building immediately. So I researched competitors like Sagastar, Clinic EHR, and noticed their weaknesses, like their systems are complicated, the prices are kind of high, and they have multiple features. So my plan was to build something simpler, just expiry alert, low stock notification, and inventory. So I chose my platform and started building. So I was feeling productive, I was making progress, but the question I wasn't asking was whether anyone wanted to use what I was building. I wasn't validating. I assumed the problem existed. I assumed people would want to use my solution, and then there was no light for 5 days. So I had to stop building because of that. So what I did instead was I started thinking, okay, maybe I should start calling pharmacies that I'm going to market this app to. So I went on Google Map and got pharmacist name, their contact, and then I started calling, which is what I should have done first. The realization was simple but brutal. Most products fail not because they are poorly built, they fail because nobody wanted to use them in the first place. The only way to know if people want something is to ask them before building it, not after building it. At that moment when there was no light, this is what I did. The first thing I did was I went and searched for 53 pharmacies with their contact. The second thing I did was I scripted questions, not sales pitch or anything, just pure research. For example, I asked them, how do you manage your inventory currently? Have you used any software? If you've used any software, are you experiencing anything you don't like about the software or any frustration? If someone was to build another software, what is your dream future? What would you pay for? Those are the kind of questions that I asked. So step 3 was calling. I called all the pharmacies. Some didn't answer, some didn't want to talk, some thought I was a fraud or like a scammer. I even had to send my ID to some pharmacies before they could even talk to me, respond to me, which it's good. I like it. It's a good thing because the country is not safe. Anything can happen at any time. So I did everything necessary just for them to talk to me, and I got an insight from only few pharmacies. So here's what I found. So the first pharmacy told me that they're already using Atrax and shortcuts, and what they really want is to be able to access their inventory or the system or the application remotely. Because he was telling me that, let's say if you are in US, you should be able to access it. You don't need to go to the shop manually to access it there. For example, if you have multiple community pharmacies, for each one he has to go to the community pharmacy to look at the inventory, to look at the sales and everything. So he wants to be able to access the data, everything remotely, whether he's in his house in Nigeria or he's in abroad. Now this is the only strong lead that I have, or that I had, because I'm no longer building. And the second pharmacy told me that they are using QuickBooks. They are satisfied with the experience, and it is offline. It is also a one-time payment, so they don't even want to switch. The third pharmacy told me that they are using a notebook to track their inventory. They don't lose money, they don't lose drugs due to expiration because they know the market, so they only buy the drugs that they know that they'll be able to sell before it expires. This is polite, but it doesn't seem urgent for them to adopt a new app or a software. Then the fourth pharmacy told me that they don't use inventory software. The only thing is they struggle with point of sale billing, which is a different problem entirely because I didn't intend to include that feature in my app. And the fifth pharmacy I called told me that the markets are down. They use like a notebook, there's no money, so they can't even afford to invest in an application or any inventory software at the moment. And the sixth pharmacy told me that they use Moneybook currently, and for now they are satisfied. They are not encountering any problem with Moneybook, and also they pay, I think, about 100K per year, something like that, so they are satisfied with Moneybook. So you can see out of 53 calls, I had only one strong lead. And here's what those calls taught me. The first one is the problem I thought existed wasn't the urgent problem. So I assumed pharmacies were desperate for expiry alert, but that was not true. All they wanted was a remote access, literally data reliability, and point of sale integration, something like that. The expiry alert is something that is nice to have, but not urgent enough to make them pay for the software. So I was solving a problem that people could live with, not the one that was costing them money every single month. Lesson number 2 is most pharmacies are already using something, and the thing is switching costs may be high, and also they need to retrain their workers, their staff. And also another thing is there is this issue of trust, like the software is new, I'm new, I don't have any backing or like any proof. So that's also something, because just building something simpler and cheaper wasn't enough to overcome the inertia. Unless if their current system is broken, there's no reason to switch to a new system that I'm bringing to them. The third lesson is that the prices varies widely. Some are paying 100k per year, some kind of an upward 2,000 per month. So I priced based on what seemed fair to me, not what the market would actually pay. The fourth lesson is pharmacists wanted remote access, cloud-based something, which I didn't have the technical skill, so I could spend months trying to learn that skill or pivot to something that I could actually execute. After those 53 calls, I stopped building the app, not because it was a bad idea, but because the market is not desperate enough for that kind of solution, for that kind of app. I wasn't differentiated enough, and I didn't have the skill to build what they actually want. So I could see this as a failure. 1 week on an app I will never launch, 53 calls for nothing. But here's how I look at it instead. I saved myself 3 months of building something that nobody wanted. Because if I hadn't validated, I would have kept building, launched to crickets, spent money on marketing, and gotten frustrated when nobody signed up. Instead, I learned the lesson early. Talk to customers first before you build. You need to validate first. And also, those 53 courses taught me more about entrepreneurship than any course ever had, because the first one is now I know how to handle rejection. People didn't want to talk to me, but I kept calling and calling and calling. And also, I also learned to listen to what people actually have to say, not necessarily what I want to hear. Because what I wanted to hear was, "Oh, we need your app. We are so happy. We can't wait to find you." That's what I was hoping to hear, but that didn't happen. And I learned to listen to what they have to say. And also that passion for an idea is not enough. I'm not the one to decide. The market decides. And that also sometimes stopping is not really quitting, it's actually a strategy. So now if I want to build something, if I want to build an app, I know the steps, I know what to do. Find people who are desperate enough to pay for that solution, for that app, not people who are mildly interested. No. So here's what I'm going to do next. The next thing for me is to go back to what I know how to do, what I can do, which is research. The pharmacy app taught me that I was running from something hard, building a consulting practice and choosing something that felt easier. But building an app isn't easier. It's different, hard, especially when it comes to the marketing. The irony is, while calling pharmacies, I already had a validation for my consulting. I had a client, delivered a manuscript review for them, and they were so happy. And that's proof of concept. I didn't need to validate whether people need research help. I needed to commit to serving them consistently. So that's what I'm doing. Research consulting, helping postgraduate students with manuscript review. Not because it is easier, but because it is what I am equipped to do now. Maybe one day I'm going to build that app or a different one. But when I do, I'll make sure that I make 53 calls first before even building anything. You are building something and validate before you build. If you are a student that needs help with a manuscript review or a revision strategy, you can find my email in the description of this video, or you can check the first comment that I pinned. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.